Hey, Kelly, you want to do a dead end, buddy?
What is that?
We're doing that again. Well, a dead end, for those of you who aren't familiar with dead ends, that's where we take a break, and instead of talking about people who don't exist anymore, we talk about items, philosophies, animals, products,
Companies?
those types of things that we miss, that don't exist anymore, that used to be a big part of our lives, and either don't exist anymore or just kind of are on the periphery now.
Yeah. They're gone but not forgotten.
Yeah, so if I told you that all of a sudden there was a point in time that all of a sudden, instead of people going to stores, they could sit at home and from the comfort of their own homes order something, you might think that I would be talking about the internet in the late 90s, right?
Yeah.
But actually 100 years earlier, the same kind of revolution happened
Really?
with the Sears Catalog.
I thought you might be going there.
Now, the Sears Catalog for me is something that I'm kind of obsessed about.
Still.
Because Sears really, like, they were the internet before the internet, and then as soon as the internet came,
they stopped being the internet. That's true.
They kind of went under and didn't harness think about this. They had buying information on just about every household in the United States for 100 years.
Right.
And then the minute that they needed that, they lost it. They dropped it. They dropped the ball.
Yeah, they did.
That has been one of the biggest mysteries to me in business history, and it's kind of fascinated me for a long time. So let's talk about the Sears Catalog a little bit. The Sears Catalog actually came before the Sears stores.
Really?
The Sears stores only came as a response to, like, let's do a brick and mortar version of the catalog.
Did they call it brick and mortar back then, or was it just called a store?
Everything was brick and mortar back then, so they probably didn't.
That's what I'm saying. It's like in China, they don't call it Chinese food; they just call it food.
Right. No, Sears Roebuck and Company started in 1893 and sold watches and jewelry through mail order catalogs for mostly rural customers that couldn't get out to. I mean, think about it. If you lived in the country, that's an all day event, going to the big city to buy yourself a watch or something.
But you still need to know what time it is, right? I mean,
do you?
Is the rooster crowing when it should be? Are the crops going in when they should be? Yes, you do.
So these books were just like these little booklets that sold jewelry and watches, and they would go and you'd get it in your mailbox if you lived in the country. And this would be if you don't have access to the big city stores like Macy's or
Montgomery Ward's.
Yeah, I don't know what companies were around in 1893.
Woolworths.
But that's what they would do. And it was really successful. Like, the people out in the country were really buying this stuff. And they opened their first retail store in 1925. So they were already around like almost 30 years.
Wow. As a mail order company before they had a brick and mortar store. Wow. Okay.
And they opened in Chicago, and they started building more stores after that. But the catalog was the big thing for decades. The catalog was the big thing. And you could order everything in the Sears catalog. It was like Home Depot plus Amazon plus eBay plus
Old
farm
Navy.
and tractor supplies. I mean, think about it. It was more for rural people. So you could buy farm equipment.
Yeah.
You could even buy homes. Did you know that? You could buy a home.
I've heard of that. Like a kit. They would
was a kit.
Deliver a kit to you and you could build it, which you could still do today.
Yeah. Do you know how the kit works?
You get some Amish guys, they bring it to you on a wagon, and then they put the barn up for you.
Nope.
No? How does it work?
It was called the Magnolia Kit. And it's like in the 1920s, it would cost like $5,000 or $6,000. And it would come in usually by train would deliver crates, like 30 crates of lumber. And the lumber would have numbers on it. And they would send you the blueprint, and you wouldn't do it yourself. You'd get like some construction guys.
Or
And
Amish.
it was just like a Lincoln Logs kind of thing, where you would just by number, you would put up the house. Sometimes they even had like
Wait, do that hand
bricks.
motion again. Is that the international symbol for putting up a
Why
house?
not? Why not? That would be the Amish way. This isn't video.
Oh, yes, but it was pretty funny. I wish people could have seen that. You would put up the house.
Isn't that how you put up a house like this?
Yeah. You've obviously built a lot of houses.
Yeah, for sure. No, don't you think that's cool that they would have numbers on all the wood, and you would just it was like putting together an IKEA cabinet, except for it'd be your whole damn house.
Probably easier than an IKEA cabinet, honestly.
Yeah, right? Seriously.
You know, what do you do with that extra couple of pieces left over? Is it going to collapse on you, or did they send extra pieces?
I mean, some of these houses were like 2,900 square feet with 10 rooms. And it wasn't like you're putting up a trailer. I mean, these would be
substantial.
They even offered a schoolhouse, a brick schoolhouse that you could buy for $11,500. I don't know if anyone actually bought it, but for $11,500, you could build a brick schoolhouse.
Which this was in the early 1900s. I mean, that's
like 1920s.
That's
the schoolhouse
was $500,000 today, probably
1908. Actually, 1908. Look that up. How much was $11,500 in 1908? What would that be today?
That is $418,000.
Yeah. So the nails, the screws, and all the hardware came with it. They would include the windows and the doors, factory made, ready to install. They would ship the shingles or the tiles for the roof. They would include the trim for the floors and the crown molding and the cabinetry. Sometimes they would include the plumbing fixtures. Sometimes they would include paint and linoleum. Sears wanted it to be a one-stop shop for buying a home. Now, I don't know if a lot of people bought homes this way. I really don't think they did. But I think by having that as an option, it really told the buyers that you don't have to go anywhere else. We have literally everything.
Yeah. Wow.
So I was interested in learning about, like, kind of through the decade what the Sears catalog was selling. So I did a little dive here, and in the 1910s they were mostly selling like farm equipment, and that kind of thing. You could buy yourself, machinery and wagons and fences and beekeeper stuff, and mostly for farms. You could also though buy sewing machines.
Oh yeah.
You think of the
Singer sewing machines.
Customer. I see an ad here for a Pretzloff hardware sewing machines. I don't know about Singer. In the 1920s is when they launched Kenmore.
Okay, and that's appliances
and Craftsman.
Oh, tools.
Right. So like you could buy like a range, like a stove for like $38. You could buy a refrigerator for $28.
Wow.
A washer and dryer combination for $445. You could buy wrenches, Craftsman wrenches for about, depending on the size, you could buy an 8-inch wrench for $1.35. That's the Craftsman. Wrench. And that stuff still exists. Kenmore and Craftsman, right? Still around?
Yeah.
I think that's really the biggest part of Sears now is Kenmore and Craftsman.
Yeah, because I don't know if there was ever Sears branded stuff. Like if there was stuff, they either sold other people's stuff. I remember the Sears catalog had a toy section. It had a toy section, and a lot of times around Christmas time, my sister and I would open it up and circle things that we were
I was
after.
I was just gonna say, you sit down. I was doing the same thing in the mid '70s. You'd sit down with your pen and you'd circle all the stuff you wanted, and
Yeah.
then there was a number, and then your grandmother would call that number, the phone number, and then she would give like a 10-digit code and say, I want this. And I mean, it was very much like a manual version of the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they paid COD.
Probably did. Now I'm wondering on the other end what was going on when they were writing these big numbers out. Then
Right. You get it wrong by one digit, and instead of a washer and dryer, you end up with
a baby doll
yeah,
or a house.
Or a house. Yeah, a schoolhouse.
Now in the 1930s, they kept with the kit homes, but then appliances started being more common. Refrigerators, radios. You could get a radio with a self-tuning dial for $64. AC electric. Remember that? AC electric? You could get
I wonder what a self-tuning dial is.
probably where like it would. My guess is if you remember how you hit that static,
Yeah. And then it would get better.
My guess is it would land on like kind of the ideal frequency.
But those radios, I believe, were actually physical wires or strings that were moving, and they were rotating a crystal or something, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, these dials are huge. They look like clock dials.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they would have, instead of they would have it looked like a clock, and instead of it's AM radio, it would say like 550, 600, 650. But then also there were stickers you could put with the name of the radio station right next to it.
Right. 101 KLOL.
Yeah. Well, this was AM, but
Houston's Rock. 590
590
KTRK.
Yeah, sure. Why not? All that stuff. In the 1940s, then they were selling baby chicks. You could buy baby chicks for backyard farming.
I was going to ask you if you could buy animals on the Sears catalog. It sounds like you could.
What do you think? What do you think about the idea of backyard farming?
So, well, I think I grew up having a few chickens, and our first one started out as a baby chick. It was an Easter baby chick, and I don't think we got it at I don't know where my parents got it, but maybe they got it from the Sears catalog. I don't know, but it showed up. And you know what they did to baby chickens back then for Easter? They would dye them. So you might get
the whole chicken.
You might get so the baby chicks had a fluffy little coat of this. They weren't really feathers yet. It was just kind of this down fluff kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. They would, I don't know if they sprayed it or dipped them into something, but you could get them blue or pink or red.
The
or
actual
orange.
Chicks.
Yeah.
Instead of being yellow, they would be different colors.
Yes. Yes.
That's probably why we dyed just the eggs today, right?
I don't know. This is a weird thing that is just coming back to me, but I wonder if Sears offered them in different colors.
I don't know. By the 1950s, they started selling toys, and then they started. The Christmas catalog was called the Wish Book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love that. That's so Sears catalog were year round, but that Christmas one that you're remembering was called the Wish Book.
The Wish Book,
and the big toy in the 1950s, do you know what it was?
Hula hoop.
Mm-mm.
Wait, a string lined airplane, like that you went around in circles and it was on a string.
No, it was a specific toy. I'm sure you played with later.
The 1950s. Legos?
No, it was G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. I never had a G.I. Joe.
I had a really cool G.I. Joe in the 70s that had like really cool hair. That
was it hair that was like a like thread, like a cloth kind of hair, or was it just painted on hair?
No, it was not painted on. It was not painted on.
Okay.
It was like, that's why I mention it. It was like hair. I mean, it wasn't hair. It wasn't long hair. It was like
Well,
it was like
GI Joe was not a hippie. GI
no,
Joe
no,
was not a
no,
dirty long-haired hippie. So don't
no.
be even talking about that.
Wasn't really a crew cut though either. It was kind of like
Like Tom Selleck,
no, it was kind of
Mr. T,
like a tight afro, but like not
Dolph
a tight
Lundgren.
one. No, more like a tight afro.
Okay, so Billy D. Williams kind of look.
Mm-hmm. But GI Joe was big in the 50s.
I never had a GI Joe. Did you have a Stretch Armstrong?
Of course, yeah.
See, here's the thing with those. I don't know why. I considered GI Joe, Stretch Armstrong, Ken. I thought they were girls' toys because they were dolls, but action figures like Star Wars action figures, which were smaller, I thought were okay for boys. But I really had this weird sense of
I wasn't.
gender
I had
back
a
then.
yeah. Well, I had a. I guess I didn't have any hangups like that. You know,
You had a baby alive.
I just played with what I played with, and I didn't. It didn't bother me. I wasn't. Then I was comfortable enough in my
Your
own
dingling.
skin. Yeah.
You wanted to play with your dingling.
I in the 1960s,
Chuck Barris.
they started selling more lifestyle things, outdoor equipment. Also, the toys were like car sets, you know, like kind
Hot
of
Wheel.
like Hot Wheel type of things with like
Matchbox.
parking garages. Then
Oh,
they
yeah.
started selling the AM/FM radio turntable with the
Oh yeah.
like the consoles, you know,
Yeah,
180 bucks for that console.
Wow. That's a lot for back then.
In the 70s, they started going with the plaid pants and the wide leg, that whole style thing.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
now and then I'll send you an ad. I'll text you an ad for Sears back in the day.
Brady Bunch style.
Oh yeah, that's great. Coordinates. Yeah, you remember Coordinates?
No. Was that a brand?
No. Well, I think it might have been, but Coordinates are just like this goes with this. You know, remember Garanimals when we were kids?
Oh, well, it's not coordinates. It coordinates.
They were called Coordinates.
They were?
Mm-hmm.
It was. Yeah.
Where this pant goes with this shirt.
Yeah. I never subscribed to that. I usually I close my eyes and pick randomly. It does. That's for sure.
VCRs started popping up in the 70s. VCRs were not cheap. VCRs, a tabletop VCR. I have an ad here for $885 for
in the
tabletop.
70s.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I remember a couple of friends who had VCRs early on. And yeah, it was kind of wild to be able to put in a tape and watch something that you didn't have to watch on air, you know? So yeah.
And it's wild because the VCR has the VHF and UHF buttons, you know, and you still have to like tune that stuff in. The early versions of VCRs, pre-cable TV, and I mean $900 for VCRs.
Are you talking about the top loader where you put it in and then you push the thing down and then it would thread inside?
Oh, yeah. Here's something for a 3-way VCR, but I don't know what I guess it's a player and a recorder and a tuner.
Oh, so maybe you could record shows because you could use it as a tuner to tune into a TV station and then record the show using it. Wow.
Right. You would watch one and record one. That was that whole concept back then.
Yeah.
You know, by the 1980s, they were coming out with it was still about $800 for like a Betamax. They would have portable VCRs. I see a picture here of a guy with one like around his shoulder.
It's got a strap on it.
Carrying it. I think that was like for recording, like you could hook it up to a camcorder.
Yep.
Yeah. But this idea of watching whatever you want, whenever you want, I mean, people don't realize today that was not a given.
No.
In the 1990s, they were selling cell phones that were lightweight, that were only 2 pounds. And the last big Sears catalog book was published in January of 1993.
Really? They stopped after that.
Right before the internet.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? In 1984, Sears revenues were $38 billion. About 20% of that was from the catalog. Um, just, really doing well. But man, the internet was just, they were so slow to adopt it. They didn't come up with a website until 1998.
Wow. Yeah. That was when AOL was already going out of business. I mean,
5 years after the catalog stopped, they decided, hey, we should start from scratch and do a website. Like, that's just my what I imagine is that the people that were in charge at Sears were too old to understand what was happening in the early 90s and didn't see it coming,
yeah.
or thought that it was going to be a fad or whatever. They were really focused in the 1980s and 90s. They were focused on physical expansion, real estate. They bought Kmart. They merged with Kmart. They bought Allstate Insurance Company. They were really getting into the appliance game. They were taking on, Maytag and those kind of companies. And that's where their focus was. They thought that people still wanted the in-store or the catalog experience. They thought that people wouldn't want to put their credit card information into a website.
And
that's
there
all
are people
true.
that don't.
That's
But
all true, but
they're all
that tells you a lot about those people, is that the people that were making the decisions were the same. They didn't have any people that could see, like, were futurists, right? That could see what the internet could be or even imagine what the internet could be. They just had a room full of naysayers. And that just tells you why you always need to have younger people and diverse group of people making decisions, because if it's just a bunch of old white guys, which I'm sure it was in the 1980s, they got caught napping, man. By the time they were out there with a website in 1998, Amazon had already started, eBay had already started, even Walmart.com was
Wow.
already
Wow.
started. When they did start, it was a terrible website. The orders were coming slow. I mean, if there's anybody that should have had fulfillment, logistics, all that down, it should have been Sears, right?
Yeah, they were shipping houses in the early 1900s. Why couldn't
And
they
then
ship?
100 years later, they just like lost their way.
Yeah.
I just think
Yeah.
that's
Wow.
amazing.
Well, we talked about the toy section. We talked about the houses. There's one section of the Sears catalog that we should probably give a shout out to. Do you know where I'm going with this?
I do.
The ladies' underwear section.
Yeah. What do you want to say about that, Kelly?
I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say that.
The Sears catalog got Kelly through puberty.
All right. Well, that's pretty awesome.
They had, in 1902, they sold a thing called the Heidelberg Electric Belt. And it was supposed to cure all sorts of male ailments, from nervous disorders to impotence. And it was a vibrating belt that you strapped around your waist, and it was supposed to cure you. It's crazy, right?
The Heidelberg. I mean, if it does what it promised, that sounds pretty good.
Yep. They had all kinds of health belts back then for people with weak nerves,
that vibrated, a lot of vibration going on.
Remember, even they had gyms you could go and you
could get on that big thing with the strap and put it around your waist, and
that
it was
Three Stooges thing. Yeah.
There was also a thing you could get into that had light bulbs all around you that were supposed to be good for your skin or something.
They also sold the first hearing aids. They were called ear trumpets, and they were just like,
it was a big round shaped thing, kind of like those, kind of like on a Victrola.
Right. It was exactly just a cone. Right.
Yeah.
You're right. You could buy animals. You could buy baby chicks, puppies, rabbits, mink, and rabbits both for meat and for pets.
Right.
You could buy weapons from the Sears catalog. They sold guns, rifles, ammunition, swords, sabers, crossbows,
Ninja stars.
knuckle duster. What's a knuckle duster?
Is that like brass knuckles?
I don't know. What's a knuckle duster? A knuckle duster. Yeah, brass knuckle. I've never heard of a knuckle duster.
What is a knuckle? That definitely sounds like a
it just came
insult.
to brass knuckles. Yeah. Like a knuckle dragger, right? Isn't that what they call it? Like
a metal bar outfitted over the knuckles, often with holes for fingers for inflicting injury by a blow with the fist.
Brass knuckles.
Yeah.
They sold false teeth kits. This is disturbing. Maternity corsets. That sounds awful. Yeah, so you could buy it all, man, with the Sears catalog. And now you can't. I wonder if you can. I bet you can buy some old Sears catalogs though on eBay.
You can probably buy them on eBay. Yes, exactly.
That's
Full
ironic.
circle. Full circle.
So I don't know. I get worked up every time I think about the missed opportunity that Sears had in the 1990s. They just dropped the ball, man. So let that be a warning to everybody who brushes off things like AI,
podcasting.
I mean, some of the stuff does turn out to be a fad, like Pet Rocks, but a lot of times you should listen.
You should always listen. That's a good policy. Listen to Dirt Nap City and read the Sears catalog.
Flipping pages in my old tin shed, dreams of riches danced in my head. A house for a dime a day, they said. Sears sold it all, now they're dead. Oh, the Sears catalog, it had it all from overalls to a crystal ball. A plow, a blouse, a doll with a draw, but they missed the web and they took the fall. Bloomers, lace and pride, pocket watches ticking time on your side, farm tools, sharp toys that glide. Now it's all gone like a low tide. They could have ruled the cyberspace, but they tripped and lost the race. Oh, the Sears catalog, it had it all from overalls to a crystal ball. A plow, a blouse, a doll with a draw, but they missed the web and they took the fall. Imagine drones with Sears flair, flying bloomers through the air. But now it's quiet, no one cares. A kingdom lost beyond repair.